Greetings and nice to meet you. I'm Lisa. And if you didn't catch my last episode, A Real Railroader and His Collection, you'll definitely want to check that out. This is basically a continuation of my reunion with a family friend I hadn't seen in decades, Jim Turk. Oh goodness, I've spotted your model trains. He is the real deal. He is a retired senior general car foreman. Oh, that's nice. And he worked on Derailments for many, many years. Really nice guy, and we just had such a special visit. Oh, cool building. What's that? Is that a model of anything in particular?
What's that?
Does that look like a deep color?
I did that when I was 10 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was into making birdhouses and stuff there. Made a station.
Oh my God.
People attempt at wiring and some circus art.
Oh, that's really cool. All right.
Oh, it's a nice job I did on the paint on the windows and stuff.
Oh, this is so old.
Yeah, that's pre-war.
Oh.
Say pre-war, World War II. And then all this stuff is just, boxes and boxes of locomotives and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Every drawer is like a locomotive.
Well, a locomotive car, yeah.
Wow. He showed me train memorabilia, train cars.
Hallmark every year comes out with a different
Oh.
Lionel car. The coup de grace of those ornaments was the station here. This is pretty amazing ornament. And then the trains actually move on the layout here. Gate goes up and down. The one goes in a continuous circle, and then the other one goes in a switch mode where it goes back and forth, and then each time it alternates from going down the siding or going back down the circle.
That's very neat.
And then the VW transformer actually works to a degree where it stops, and then if it starts it again, then it goes in reverse. So it's
Wow.
that was Hallmark's shining moment as far as I was concerned.
You'll see later a special gift that he gave me. Very neat. What a collection. Thanks for sharing that with me. And he had a lot of stories about these derailments and personal photos, as well as newspaper clippings from the stories of these derailments. And just the images were wild. So I want to share that all with you. And I'm glad you're here today. And here we go.
This is like the Pulp Fiction manual for the railroad. That's from 1952, probably before your dad and I were born.
Wow!
And it's got, the railroad stories, the advertisements and stuff.
Machine shopper. I love I have like an old, I love old magazines. I don't have anything like this. I have like one or two old magazines.
My mom got a bunch of them.
Oh my gosh.
You take that with you.
Thank you so much.
I guess you call that railroad Pulp Fiction.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's really cool. Oh wow. All right, a little bit of a derailment there.
Yeah, I'm sure they cartooned it up or something there.
Yeah.
Now you can go through here. This is just raw. I wish I had done so much more document, but this is stuff that I was on that was involved in
Oh my God.
newspapers, and I didn't get them all, and I wish I had kept the camera with me and did a lot more photos of different derailments I was on, stuff like that.
Oh my
But that was the exciting part. I mean, what's to tell you about what I did? I gauged wheels and directed the guys that repair and freight cars. Components wear out, and of course, components were damaged if the cars sideswiped each other and stuff, or were improperly handled, And I was up near the Huron River there, and a couple loaded automobile cars fell into a boat marina.
Oh my gosh. And when you were a kid, did you like dream of working on the railroad?
I knew I wanted to work on the railroad since I was a kid. I mean, I knew that was a possibility. I mean, of course, it said probably was a fireman too or something like that. But
It's a hard job. It's a very skilled job.
to a degree, yeah, you don't need to be highly educated, but you need to be mechanical and you need to be able to work out in the elements. Because you can look at today, it's a beautiful day, but if it's 10 below zero, your schedules are still the same and stuff like that. So being hardened off to the elements and a willingness to work longer hours and unscheduled hours was, I would say, a must, at least at that time. Now they're trying to make it more family oriented for the worker, I think, because the workers are expecting more as far as humane treatment. That was near downtown Cleveland, there by Edgewater Park. There we had a string of ore jennies go up into a van train that was moving down the main. That was 40 years ago.
How often were there derailments here?
Well, we would sometimes come in and have four derailments already on the car, cars on the ground to clear up during the day. Of course, it happened very frequently in the yards, less often in the main line. But when we took over the Penn Central Railroad with Conrail and stuff, the tracks were so deplorable that derailments were a common everyday occurrence almost.
Oh my gosh. I mean, were there deaths most of the time?
No.
Injuries
deaths were not that common, but they were there. Combine all the railroads, you probably lost anywhere between 10 and 40 people a year.
Wow.
But that's throughout the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
speaking of, yes. Tomato. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is...
Now that was caused...
Oh my gosh.
That was caused by a snowstorm.
Oh.
The snow packed on a signal, and engineer and conductor could not read the signal. They assumed that they were going to get a clear, and they kept their train going, and there was a train crossing from one track to the other in front of them, and they hit it at whatever speed, and the conductor on the van train died.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there you go. That new Jim Heupel.
Really?
That happened right, in fact, where you were coming down here and you went over the railroad yard on 271. Okay, on the right-hand side, there had been a railroad yard, and that's probably where I spent most of the time in that one building there, Macedonia Car Shop. But Heupel lost his arm right underneath that bridge when you went. Wow. And these were examples of the 100 and 110-ton cranes that we drove down the highway or could put on the rail. This is a Pettibone crane, 110-ton capacity out of Collinwood, and this is the 100-ton homes out of Canton. And those photographs were just came as it came out of the rebuild shop. That was the maintenance away shop down there at Canton. Wow. And that photograph is a buddy of mine with me. In fact, his wife and I share the same birthday.
Oh.
Date and year.
Wow.
This was up in Erie, PA. Van train derailed on the main line, and of course the flat car went through a building there. Fortunately, nobody hurt. I was having the majority of the fun 40 years ago, and then when in '99, when NS and CSX acquired our section of Conrail, they pretty well did away with the wreck equipment the heavy wreck equipment that we had in the area. Started using outside contractors more and more. That was a corn syrup derailment down there in Massillon.
Wow.
Biggest cost of that derailment was putting sand down, cleaning up the corn syrup. You wouldn't think of corn syrup as a hazmat, but due to the fact that bacteria grows on it and stuff, you had to get it absorbed and get it all out. It was considered a biological hazard.
Wow, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always think about the substance that is being carried if it's not like oil or something obvious.
Yeah, it's not a placarded commodity,
sure.
but when it laid on the ground.
Sure.
Same with soybeans and all that stuff, those environmental things. Nothing worse smelled worse in a train yard than if soybean or certain grains leaked out of the bottom of covered hoppers. When you get those grains rotting in this railroad yard. First, they attracted vermin, but then second of all, the smell of the product decaying or breaking down. Horrific.
That's a lot. 15 cars.
Mhm.
I mean, I would think that that's unusual, 15
Yeah.
cars.
It is, but then of course we just had a couple 30-car derailments around here too. I don't know if they're trying to run longer trains or what, but they have had some issues in the last few years that we weren't seeing 20 years ago. I know in a 6-month period they had more derailments in my former rec territory than we had in 18 years on the main line.
Wow.
Now, I myself didn't get to wreck master on it too often, probably 6 to 10 times, but that's a 250-ton derrick, and we use that in conjunction with a 110-ton pettibone crane to upright a load of paper rolls, and that was at Collinwood.
Wow.
Those 250-ton cranes are pretty much all dinosaurs, and they're either cut up for scrap or in museums now. What time is it? I think it's probably going in the peninsula. Yeah, probably going in the peninsula, and then they'll be coming out.
So you guys can hear the whistle blow from the Cuyahoga Scenic Railroad. Whoa, oh my gosh. I can't imagine, like, how to fix this.
Yeah, well, you just start throwing, and we get the outside contractors in. Now, these are kind of unique pictures here because this is so long ago, the Key Bank building and the BP building, or the Huntington building, are not in Cleveland there. All you do is see the terminal tower right there vaguely in the background. This was down at Whiskey Island where the Hewletts were that I was talking about. And you can see the little ore jennies there. Those cars were only 25 feet long.
And did you take all these photos?
No, I took some because that's actually me in that photograph.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, with my arm in front of my face, but
Cool.
in fact, let's see if we go back here to the ones we first came into. Right there, that's my hard hat right there.
Oh,
I'm crouched down there.
there he is.
Bob Deitch is crane operator.
Wow.
And right there, that's me, I think. I don't know who's next to me there. Ramsey, maybe. Good buddy of mine, Rick Barabbas. Unfortunately, he's in the hospital right now, or extended care with MS.
Oh, that is sad.
This is at Collinwood. A couple cabooses rammed into each other. The guys wondered why they got rid of them.
Oh my gosh.
Most expensive car to buy as a rule, and most expensive car to maintain, and the biggest cause of train delays was the caboose back in the day. They don't have them now. They use electric marker on the rear of the train called a EOTD, end of train display or end of train device. It's a bad derailment we had up at East Lake. That was going into the illuminating company. A couple 100-ton loads of coal on the ground.
Wow.
And that was on New Year's Eve. So we were out working New Year's Eve.
So were you on call a lot of your career?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And, when I held those jobs, it was 24/7 years.
Really?
And that's me right there. This is an outside job we did for Republic Engineered Steel down in Canton, the Maslin plant. They hired us to come in and re-rail. If you notice, their engine's perpendicular to the track there. But that's a perfect case of where you have a engine derail and then the car's pushing it. Each car weighs more than the locomotive. So they
Wow.
continue to shove it off and over on the track. Try to keep the glare down for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. Are these pictures of most of the derailments that you've experienced?
Oh no, this is
It's like a fraction?
fraction. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
This is just a selfie.
Before there were even selfies, you were ahead of your time, Jim.
That was if you went over, you were going south on 271. That's the building you would have seen now. It's all shut down though now. The car industries are no longer in the area. It's a good friend of mine, Denny Garrett. He's from Canton. And Marty and I think 2 years ago, we were near Scranton, PA. We actually went out on this bridge, saw it. It's a huge viaduct.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's neat.
They were moving this steam engine from Bellows Falls, Vermont, down to Scranton, PA. The Steamtown relocated. I guess that would have been 40 years ago, going by the date on that. Now, what put our equipment out of business was here we got the side booms right there, and that was an outside contractor in our area. Holchers and R.J. Corman were the two big competitors. Then there was Winners and Crane Masters, large but not just quite as big as those two that I mentioned. Another shot of the Holmes crane there.
Oh, that sounds retirement.
Yeah, it's Bob Dice when he retired. He was a good crane man. He taught me an awful lot.
Was this the 80s? Because I feel like I knew you then.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been down in Canton there. Yeah.
I'm like, I recognize that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
What a metamorphosis.
Gosh. No, I mean, you're like the same guy.
There we
Just
are.
different style, different clothes.
With that crane, one crane got the whole boxcar lifted up. That's all.
Wow. Wow.
Back in the barn, I've got a builder's plate off one of them. And here we're using the crane and the petty bone to handle that car.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And that's pretty much it. I guess this is but these are just great railroads, Bessemer and Lake Erie Railroad.
Wow.
But you had the Bessemer and Lake Erie, you had the Pittsburgh and Lake Erie, you had the Wheeling and Lake Erie. And they were all basically railroads that fingered up to the Great Lakes, and they supplied resources for the steel plants then. As well as your big Class 1 railroads, New York Central, Pennsylvania, and all that. But it's amazing.
So what's shifted as the steel industry has shifted with the railroads and with the local economy?
A lot of abandonments. Yeah. They're bike and hike paths now, unfortunately.
We're fortunate.
At least. It sounds fun, but I mean, yeah, the Creeper Trail is one my dad's been on.
No, probably.
Like, yeah. That was made into like a bike, bike trail.
And part of the Virginian was an electrified railroad, as well as part of the Pennsylvania Railroad was electrified. And then recently, I would say probably, 3 years ago, they brought in 4 original coaches off the California Zephyr, the CB&Q, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy, hence the Burlington and the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. That's what's left of that from that merger. That's where the Burlington came from.
That sounds like a fun trip, Chicago to San Francisco.
Yeah, or Chicago to Seattle, where it goes up and skirts the lower end of Glacier National Park and cuts through the Cascades. Which I would say is very good. But the old CBQ and route, if I'm not mistaken, went through the Royal Gorge in Colorado, where the Royal Gorge Bridge is, that famous suspension bridge at Cannon City. Another spot well worth looking for scenic train rides or whitewater rafting on the Arkansas River. Okay. Two of the cars that you've seen change most over my career was, of course, the auto rack cars, the cars that carried the automobiles. From in the early 70s, it was basically 2 or 3 leveled flat cars in the open with cars on it. You'd see them going down the tracks where the kids had gotten on there, turned the flasher lights on or removed the tires, etc. And then over the course of the car's history, side panels were put on just to prevent rocks from hitting the cars. And then, of course, when we started trading more with Mexico with our automobiles, then we came up with end doors, side sheets with anti-vandal clips, etc., just to keep people from getting inside the cars, and less access, with the exception of minute holes put in the side sheets to allow for ventilation as the guys loaded the cars and weren't asphyxiated by carbon monoxide gas. But that car's changed a lot. The other car that's kind of disappeared or gone by the wayside, at least in our area, is the cattle car. Pretty much cattle and livestock is hauled pretty much by truck anymore, and not on by the railroad. Of course, the railroad then doesn't have to maintain stockyards or locations where they have to water or feed the livestock. Cut.
And that's a wrap on retired senior general car foreman and family friend Jim Turk. Subscribe, and I'll see you soon.